another episode of First Down by CoachTools. Today I'm here with Coach PJ Sprunk. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Absolutely, Justin. Appreciate you having me.
So today, Coach and I, we're going to be talking a little bit about his coaching experience and just about some advice that he has for younger coaches that are looking to pursue becoming a head coach. So to kick things off, can you just share a little about yourself and your journey to Kenner Discovery High School to this point?
Absolutely, man. So, football's been a part of my life since I was 7 years old. Played all through, of course, rec ball and in the middle school and then into high school. And I was actually blessed enough to be able to play on the collegiate level at Louisiana Christian, which when I was there was Louisiana College, but now it's Louisiana Christian University. And from there, I was able to have a professional offer to go play in Odessa, Texas for the Odessa Roughnecks of the IFL. I've really been blessed when it comes to, being able to play this game. I'm not a tall guy by stature. I'm 5'7" on a good day. So I just kind of, and I tell my kids the same thing. It's not always about your size. It's about how much you're willing to outwork the person next to you. And so I was able to, be blessed enough to do that and not have any major injuries, which is, phenomenal. So, when I got out of college, I graduated with a business degree, and really wasn't necessarily sure what I wanted to do. I knew I had a love for football. Didn't know if I wanted to be an educator. Didn't know if I necessarily wanted to coach. And I've had the blessing to have some really really good coaches in my life. I played for the guy who's about to be the winningest high school football coach in the entire nation, with JT Curtis over at John Curtis High School. My offensive line coach is there, Coach Mike Robertson, who unfortunately passed away a few years back, and Coach Brian Sloan were huge influences on me. And then going on to the next level, I had a chance to have my defensive coordinator and my D-line coach, Coach Buck Buchanan, who was one of the biggest influences on my life. Kind of took me into college and just kind of showed me the ways a little bit, and just really a really down to earth guy that kind of treated you like a human being, but also was stern enough to be able to tell you what you need to do to right your ship. And and then also Dennis Dunn was my head coach my senior year in college. So and then moving on to the Arena League, obviously with some good professional coaches. So I've really been blessed to do that, and I kind of felt like that might have been a calling for me. And Coach Dunn, my senior year of college, said he felt like I was going to be a leader, or I felt like I was born to help younger guys, younger athletes with their certain things, and I kind of still didn't know what that meant. Then Coach Buchanan actually talked to me about a potential coaching job that was out that way. I said, okay, well, I'll look into it, and just nothing ever really came about it. And when I went and played arena ball, when I got back, I had a small injury, but at that point, I had dropped a bunch of weight to get to a certain position and got moved to another position. And on the professional level, I was able to do it for a few months, and then game kind of told me it was done with me. But I really had no idea. I got a phone call from a college teammate of mine that said they had an opening at a high school down here, outside New Orleans, Riverside High School, and I went interview for the job. Was lucky enough to be selected for the position, and I fell in love with the game all over again. And this time it wasn't about falling in love with playing the game, but it was falling in love with the game in general, and being able to help young athletes reach their potential. And through that, I was there, and then I got my first coordinator job at Grace King High School, which is right outside of New Orleans as well. My second game ever as a defense coordinator, I had the daunting task of trying to defend Odell Beckham, and it was interesting to say the least. He's every bit as good as they said he was, and we were a young team back then, but those growing pains going through and being able to learn like that. I was over at Grace King for a couple years, and then I actually kept coaching for a while, but I got out of teaching for a while with my own business, and made some good money, but just something was missing, for about 4 or 5 years. And I knew I wanted to do it full time again, and I kind of dedicated myself going back to it. So went over to Bonneville High School as a special teams coordinator. And then luckily enough, Kinder Discovery, our school was only about 10 years old. The football program is only 6 years old. They were looking to start a program and looking for a new head coach. And, a lot of good candidates. I was lucky enough and blessed enough to be selected. And, when we got here, Justin, we truly, I don't think people really quite understood. We didn't even have any footballs. My first meeting, we had some kids show up. We talked about the program, where we wanted to go, what we wanted to be. Um, we had a schedule made. We had a game 3 months from that date that we had that meeting, and we had no footballs, no equipment, nothing. Our first practice, we had 11 kids show up. We had 4 cones, 11 kids, and that's what we had to work with. And my first thought process was, oh man, this is going to be a lot tougher than I thought. But every day, more kids started showing up after, summer league basketball and baseball were done, and started showing up. Went into that first year as a JV program with 35 kids. We took our lumps. I think we won 2 JV games that year, and we had some injuries and things like that because we were so new. And some of the kids we had either never played before or hadn't played in 3-4 years. So the game was like reteaching all over to them again. We were able to have some really good coaches come through here and really help our kids and benefit our kids. And our first varsity season, we peeled off a 6-4 record. We missed the playoffs by, I think it was 0.3 of a point due to the PowerPoint system down here. We lost our last game that kind of knocked us out. Year 2, we went 5-3, made the playoffs in the first round. Year 3, we went 5-2. That was during COVID and during the hurricane. And down here, we had Hurricane Ida that kind of wiped us down. We were out for a few weeks, lost a few of our games as far as off the schedule. But we ended up going 5-2 that year. Again, made the first round of the playoffs. And last year, our first class was our original freshman class. We're all seniors. We had 17 some odd seniors last year, and we ended up going 7-3 and hosting a first round playoff game. But it's all credit to the kids that we have and the coach we have here that benefit those guys so much. And that's where we are today. And it's we're still here at Ken Discovery right now, and we're going into week 4 here. So we've had some injuries this season, but our kids are relentless, and they don't let that get to them. They focus on what we do have, and we move forward. So it's one of the most proudest things I can say as a coach is that we've instilled in our kids that it doesn't really matter where you are at this point. It's where you want to go and what you focus on.
Right. And that's like the ideal, like, rags to riches story, going from literally not having any footballs at the school to being a 7-3 team. So can you just talk a little bit more about that journey? And did you say it was over the course of 7 years? Was it
6 years? This is year 6. First year we were a JV team. We had the last 3 we were last 4 we were varsity. This is our 5th year of varsity, 6-year overall. And the crazy part is that, again, all credit to these coaches and these kids for what they've done. And, right now our gym is actually being constructed as we speak right next door, but our weight room is a converted classroom that's, very, very small. Our locker room is a stairwell. And I don't mean like in a figurative speech, it's a little stairwell that is functioning that we get dressed under before practice. Our practice field is a 75-yard mound of dirt, but that's what we have. And again, everything that we need is being built, and it's the schools behind it is just, that's where we are at this point. And our kids don't look at any of that. Like we don't have a true locker room or a true weight room. They don't look at that. They look at what we do have. They take care of what we do have, and they focus on things that we know we can control. And to them, it's a giant credit, man. They just our kids here. We've had, in the last 4 years, I think we've put right around 9 guys next level in college. For college right now, we have 4 that are currently playing from this last class, and 1 guy that got a track scholarship over to Loyola. But and for them, I tell all of our recruiters that come here, when you get one of our kids, you're getting a kid that is going to work hard for you and appreciate the things he does have, because those things weren't necessarily granted to him when we first got here. And again, it's not anybody's fault. It's just where we're as a new program, a new school, or we're building to that point. It's just they really can understand and appreciate things they do have. And, for me, I've been coaching now. Like I said, my first coaching job was all the way back in 2007. But for me, it feels like coaching to me is not a job. It's a passion. And every day I get to wake up and do something I love. So I'm never going to be working a day in my life. And for young coaches that embrace the grind, because it's a grind, man. Listen, you have to really truly to be successful in this game. You have to be able to. It's a year long type thing. It's not always the same hours, year long. It's not always the same situations year long, but it's a year long thing. Caring about your kids is a lifetime thing. The one thing that I do a good job of here is telling our kids that we love them every single day, and not only telling them, we show them that we love them. We want to get them recruited. We want to give them help in the classroom if they need it. Our teachers here are phenomenal and are always willing to help tutor our kids or help them catch up on work they need. But they earn it. They earn it the right way, and we always want them to know how much we care about them. To us, football is huge. Listen, I'm a competitor. Our coaches are competitors. The kids are competitors. We want to win, right? Your job as a football coach to win football games, but it goes far beyond that. You can leave a lasting mark on a kid, and we always say it's bigger than just football. We correlate football to life. There's going to be rough times in life that you're going to have to get through, and life, if you don't, it's going to kick you to your knees. So we use the things that we've learned in football as far as the adversity we've had to overcome to be able to put this to positive use.
Yeah. And that you're exactly right. Like, football is the perfect parallel to life. And any hardship that you go through in life, and I can speak from personal experience too, playing college ball, like there's a lot of things that you learn just from playing. And yeah, it's great to hear. It's great to hear that that's one of your core philosophies. You're teaching this next generation. And I think, the more that we can spread the knowledge, the better.
No doubt. And, it's the only other thing, like, and again, and I'm still, I've been coaching for, as I said, 2007, but still compared to some of the guys out here, like, that have been doing it for a very, very long time, 25, 30, 40 plus years. I'm still somewhat young in the game. So I try to take as much knowledge as I can as a coach. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of coaches, not a lot of coaches, but a lot, we don't want to say a lot, is that we never want to stop learning. Even as a head coach or even as a 20 plus year coach, you never want to stop learning. The game evolves, the game changes. We always want to keep learning. The biggest thing is, if you're pouring into your kids and you're setting your precedents of what you want, never get away from what you believe is right. Sometimes also, young coaches can, because they don't want to have a mess up here and there. They don't want to, rub feathers the wrong way. You got to stick to your core values and what you believe. And if your core value is strong enough, people will buy in. You'll have hiccups along the way. That's just part of the job. But people will buy into it, and they'll understand, and they'll respect it. And again, it's all about pouring into these kids. Look, I yell and scream probably more than I need to, right? We get all over kids, but we also, sorry about that, light pops off on him here. But we also will pull that same kid off side of the practice and tell him I love him. This is why I'm getting on you, because we care,
Yeah.
Can you still see me, Justin? I'm sorry.
Um, I can see it. It's just dark in the background.
Give me 1 second. Light just pop up. 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so I mean, the biggest thing is we just continue to pour into your kids, and that's going to build your program for a long time. Look, we've played teams that were far more athletic than us, that we were end up winning games on, just because we learn to outwork people. And that's part of the game. Talent's huge. Talent helps you a lot. And again, we as coaches, we get judged on wins and losses, and that's normal. That's part of the job. And you have to understand that if you're not winning, the blame comes on you, and that's okay. I tell my kids all the time, when you win, the win is on you. When you lose, the loss is on me. That's just part of being a leader and a coach that you have to do. But again, when you have 40, 50, 60, 70 plus guys that are looking into your eyes and believe what you're telling them, and you go out and show them how much you care, they're going to run through a brick wall for you. And that's just one of the biggest things that we have a core philosophy of things here. Our kids miss practice, they don't dress. It doesn't matter if it's a starter or if it's a fifth stringer. It doesn't matter. Obviously within reason, but we set those core values, and from day one we've done that. And again, our kids respect it. They may not understand it yet, but they respect it. And again, it's not just us. There's many programs across the state and across the nation that do these kind of things. And it's just really, again, about buying into your kids so they can buy into you.
Yeah, 100%. So you obviously have a big game tomorrow night. So can you just share a little bit more about this season and maybe some of the things that have been going on so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, last year we had 17 seniors that graduated. Most of those guys were 3 or 4 year starters that, started the program with us. And we had a very good group coming back this year. We had some great leadership, some guys who played a lot of snaps for us. Unfortunately, we've got bitten really, really hard by the injury bug this year. I think when we went into our week 2 game, against Bonneville High. We had, I think, somewhere around like 11 or 12 starters out. I think 8 of
Oh,
them were on
geez.
defense alone. We
Wow.
had our starting middle linebacker who's been a 3 year starter, captain, quarterback of our defense, had some college offers. Unfortunately, tore his ACL in week 1. Our uh, our our strong safety, who's had multiple Division 1 interest and still to this point does, had a torn rotator cuff. Was able to play through it for a couple weeks, but we ultimately decided mutually that it was best for him to go ahead and have the surgery now before his college prospects. And he wanted to keep playing, and he's a warrior. But we, again, we care about our kids. It's not just about football, so we made the mutual decision to go ahead and have him have surgery. Um, we've had a all district cornerback that's been out that will return this week, obviously. But it's just things like that across the boards. And at one point we just had a lot of guys out. We went into our first 2 weeks with, again, when you have guys who are replacing guys who have been 3, 4 year starters, you depend on that, and your depth is still building because your guys are young. We have, I mean, Justin, we probably have, I'd probably say 40% of our guys are freshmen and sophomores that are starting for us. And they're very good. It's just different when you're getting that game experience, and they're coming together. We're starting to get healthy, so it's great. But we unfortunately dropped our first 2 games of the season, went 0-2. We got some of our guys back last week. We were able to have a good victory, won 35-6. Game this week is against Patrick Taylor. Patrick Taylor is very similar to us. They started off just like us as a JV program, actually middle school to JV, and then last year was their first year of varsity, and they ended up making the playoffs their first year. And we played them last year to a close game. I think it was 27-20 or something like that. And Coach Kenny Bourgeois over there does a phenomenal job with those guys. They're very hardworking, very disciplined, very well coached. Again, so it's going to be a really, really good game. They're undefeated right now at 3-0, and it's gonna be a home game for us. Like I said, we're getting healthy. We're starting to get our identity as a team together, and it'll be a great game on Friday for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, looking forward to, keeping up with you guys. So any last words you have for the audience here that's watching today?
The only thing is kind of what I already said. Love your kids and don't be afraid to say it. In this society that we live in as men, sometimes we have to maintain a hard exterior, and we have to, but listen, when your kids understand truly that you love them and they hear it from you, it changes their world. We've had, and we don't just tell our kids we love them. We love them, and we're there for them when there's family problems, or there's girlfriend problems or school problems, and we're there. We go way beyond just coaching them on the X's and O's. It's more of, we feel like we try to build father figures for them. So don't ever be afraid to be open with your kids. My wife, we talk all the time, and she's phenomenal. Look, shout out to my wife and all the coaches' wives out there, because during season, I understand it's tough. And, you don't get to see us all the time. And shout out to all you good ladies out there. But again, she knows when I say I have 3 boys of my own. I have 3 kids, and she knows when I say our boys or my boys, or she knows that I'm also including the other 65 that we have on this football team. And
Right.
she buys in for that as well. But look, always for young guys, 2 main things is just, stick to your morals and what you believe in, and love your kids. It'll take you light years above where you need to be.
Great. Well, that's awesome advice, Coach. It was a pleasure meeting you, and best of luck tomorrow night.
Absolutely, Justin. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah.